I think we all started EMET with like the prospect of going on this trip, right? It's like join fellowship, you get free food, and at the end there's a trip.
You always hear about the Holocaust, or I guess nowadays less and less people in the world are informed of what the Holocaust actually is.
So when students ask about it, so first thing I say is like, you know what, this is not a trip, it's not a vacation, this is an experience.
So why do we go to Poland? Why do we take students there? So on the one hand, we want them to experience and see what Jewish life was. At the same time, we want them to understand what the show is all about.
Because I thought it was just gonna be me going through the motions, you know, like, oh, I already read about this. Like, yeah, there was this camp, there was that camp, okay, what's next? It wasn't like that at all.
It's not a sad trip. One would think that such a trip would be depressing. That's never the reaction. We walk out of Auschwitz-Birkenau singing and dancing, Am Yisrael Chai, with a newborn appreciation for who we are as a people, who we are as a nation.
If you don't experience it, it's very hard to understand, it's very hard to relate to, because like, what are we doing, seeing death camps, cemeteries? Is that what it's all about?
After all that, in between the time, everybody in our group got to know each other. Everybody in our group got to, connect. We got to learn more about each other. We see each other all the time now. We're all friends. We experienced, a lot of us, all emotions that a human could experience on these 8 days. We experienced every emotion.
Of the 3 million Jews who lived in Poland pre-war, only 10% survived. So here was the most vibrant community, most vibrant place of Jewish life for centuries. And then it underwent the events of what we call the Shoah.
Something that actually was so special to me was I always liked the Shabbat candles with my mother. Growing up, I didn't grow up religious, and when we were there, Rabbi Kraft asked me to light the candles and say the prayers, which was something that I was in shock, because I felt this special connection and this special feeling that I'd never really had before. And it was like, wow, I felt chosen.
We were lucky, we had a really good guide, yeah. He let us really feel what the people during that time in those places felt.
Something Rabbi Kraft told me actually was that for us to be Jewish and standing here today means that our ancestors had to make it through all the persecutions, which is something that I always took with myself.
When we get back onto the bus, like, everyone is, quieter, just thinking to themselves, like, wow, like, this actually happened.
Some of the last words that the Jewish people said was the Shema Yisrael. And in that moment, we all closed our eyes and put our hand on our face and we said it. And that was the first time I really felt it. And we all cried together, and it was just a bonding experience, as well as like a surreal moment that something like that could even happen.
We all might be a little bit different as a part of the Jewish people, some are Ashkenazi, some are Sephardi, some are this type of religious, some are this type of religious, but when you're there, you just see we're just all really Jews together, and we're a family. For me, it has to be when we went to the kever, the grave of Noam Elimelech, because we experienced such a spiritual high together, and then after we go and we just have a big party and a big celebration. For instance, when we're leaving Auschwitz-Birkenau, the death camp, we're the only Jewish group there, and we're leaving singing Am Yisrael Chai, carrying the Israeli flag with us, and showing everyone else that they tried to destroy us. They tried to destroy Jewish consciousness, and yet they didn't. We're here, we're alive, and we're proud to be Jewish, and we're proud to commit ourselves to living a Jewish life.
I remember one particular student, he had never put on tefillin. And it wasn't until we got to Majdanek, a concentration camp just outside of Lublin, that he decided that he wants to wear tefillin. And where did he put it on for the first time? He said he wants to put it on right in front of the gas chambers. And he asked me, is it appropriate to do that? And first I had a question, I wasn't sure. And then I thought about it, and I said, maybe it's very appropriate. What he's feeling and what he's experiencing is that he wants to start keeping a mitzvah. He wants to give life and meaning to those who could no longer or were unable to perform mitzvot. And there he was, right in front of the gas chamber, putting out the fillet for the first time.
Our community, the people who went on the trip, still talk to this day. So, months down the line, we're still together. So if you're thinking about going on the trip, the right answer is do it.
It changed my life for the better, and I have a family out of it that I'm very close to.
I certainly just have, first of all, just so much gratitude to Hashem and to the donors of EMET who really make these experiences possible.
EMET put a lot of thought and detail into this trip. They wanted it to be a nice balance of educational / spiritual / like the students having fun on their own. I'm very grateful and thankful for EMET and for all that they have done.
I'm very grateful that I get to go on this trip as a staff member, and one of the biggest things I hear from my peers, my friends, people older than me that maybe had this opportunity at one point in their life, they didn't take it, that's one of their biggest regrets. So they always say, I wish I would have gone on a Poland trip, because if you don't have an opportunity like this presented to you, you're really not gonna go to Poland on your own.
We're so grateful to be alive. We're so grateful that it didn't happen to us. And at the same time, we feel the pain of our brethren.
What is the most meaningful thing for us to see is, in fact, the way the students come out completely changed, with a new appreciation of who they are as Jews, committed now to a deeper connection to their Judaism. I sometimes tell the students in Poland, when you go home, you're not going to be able to explain what you experienced unless they were there. I can't tell you what it's going to be like because I don't know if you'll believe me. But I want to invite you to try. I want to invite you to come join me, join EMET, join the staff, and to go on this journey.